Yeah, obviously good win. We obviously this was a game that we really needed to be at our best defensively and be sharp offensively. And minus like that stretch to start the game, where they got into us a little
Pass
bit,
one, two.
and then navigating some of the foul issues we had in the second half there. Um, minus some issues on the defensive glass and the turnovers early. I think we had 5 turnovers in the first 5 minutes and 7 for the game. So a pretty clean performance. And when your backcourt gives you that and you guard, you're hard to beat.
Wayne? And you talked about navigating that frontline foul trouble, and you had no Josh. How did you do it? Who stepped up to weather the storm?
I mean, I think basically, Wayne, we just offensively were able to, just kind of keep scoring. RJ and James kept making plays. But we were leaking defensively. They were living at the foul line, and we were getting driven or giving up really deep post position, and things were really spiraling to get to the point where Cook's playing center, and Josh hurt, and 2 guys with 3 or 4 fouls.
What is Josh's situation? Did he roll an ankle?
Yeah, rolled an ankle. I mean, I don't know the severity of it.
And then once again, R.J. Cole, just phenomenal. And once he got going, it was almost – is this the R.J. Cole you expected to get when the season began?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's hard for these freshmen. It's hard for these transfers, not just here, but across the country. These guys, again, he didn't get a summer. He didn't get a preseason, and he hasn't gotten a full schedule of non-conference and conference. So, I think you saw that from Andre today too, as he continued, as he had his best game. But, yeah, I mean, RJ, we saw this a lot in practice last year. We saw this a lot at Howard. And, he's kind of found his rhythm and timing at an important time.
Gavin?
Hey, Dan, 8 points and 8 rebounds for Andre. What did you like about what he did, and especially on the defensive end?
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you've got a 6'7" guy, he could literally – I mean, guarding 4 guys is not a problem. At some point, he'll be able to guard 1 through 5. But it's just, when you have that type of length and athletic ability out there, it's that's a problem. It's a problem for the other team. And when he starts getting himself where he knows what we're doing defensively so well that he could start cheating passing lanes and reading skips, the highlight reel will start.
Sean?
You talked a lot about just rebuilding the chemistry here on offense since James came back, and it's pretty clear that James and Cole have that chemistry now. But how big is it going to continue to be if guys like Tyler and Andre, any of these guys, can step up and find their spots and contribute on offense when either Cole or Bouknight are out or just not shooting it well?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we need those. You need your key guys nightly. Like we need James and RJ nightly. Obviously, we need guys like Tyrese nightly. But the strength of the group is the depth. Tyler's capable of having a big night. Isaiah's capable of having a big night. Adama could get us, close to double-figure points. Gaffney, I thought, when we were leaking in the first half, he was pretty good, Gaffney. So we the depth, the strength of the group is, if we have our point guard and James playing at that level, depth, rebounding, and defense could take you, to a pretty good season.
Adam Zagoria?
Hey, Dan. If I could just ask you to look ahead a little bit to Wednesday. Obviously, both Seton Hall and UConn are, on the bubble. They're going to have fans there for the first and only time this season. Just how big and important a game and how tough will this be?
Are you sure we're on the bubble? Bracket? Are you
diving I rely on Joe Lunardi and Mike DeCourcy for my bracketology information. Seton Hall is certainly on the bubble.
Yeah, no, I look for people that have us in a better position. It's good for my mental health.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Jerry Pump
as
the guy. And then if Joe does better for us, then I'll go to Joe. I just want to look at what's better for me. And
Okay, well, they're definitely on the bubble.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to enjoy this one. We know how good those guys are. I mean, player of the year, first team all conference player in Kale, and then in Roden, who, is a second, or if there was a third team, is also close to an all conference level player. They're going to be desperate. We're going to be desperate. I know that.
Thanks.
Dom?
Yeah, Dan, as you've watched RJ kind of grow and adjust and mature and go from maybe the low point earlier in the year against Creighton to what you're seeing now, what's impressed you the most? What for you has been the key to his growth or evolution through the year?
Just fighting back. This is like it's like being the quarterback at like Notre Dame, or playing quarterback, or being, at Alabama. Like when you're the point guard at UConn, you got tremendous responsibility. I mean, look at the history here of the incredible point guards that have led this program. So, he the challenges that these players face with this COVID season, people have no idea what these kids are having to deal with. And so how little reward there is for them, besides the opportunity to get out there and compete. But he, when he got to that down part of the year where he had to either, stand and fight and show who he was, or cave in, he stood, he fought, he fought, and now, he's showing a lot of people how good he is.
And I just want to ask you, before that Xavier game when there was the meeting, and things have kind of turned since then, how important was that for him to kind of take a lead role at that point, off in the locker room as well as on?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know much about the meeting. I don't even want to know what they were saying, because they might have said bad stuff about me, so I didn't want to know. But RJ called it. I know that, and as you could see, I mean, James is a big personality. Andre is like a captain type, and RJ is probably the next most vocal guy we've got. So we don't have a huge personality team. So that meeting gave those guys, I think, a chance just to, to kind of bring some things out into the open, vent a little bit. Whenever you're vulnerable, and you let other people know, like things that are bothering you, I think that takes tremendous strength to show vulnerability. And they all showed a lot of vulnerability in that meeting. And then they all collectively picked each other up.
Dan Barletta?
Have to go Renee Brown.
Hi, Dan. So early on in the second half, when Adama gets into foul trouble, Isaiah gets into foul trouble, and then Josh goes down with the injury. I wonder, what kind of position does that put you in as a coach, and how challenging is it to find the right lineup to put in, with that much time left on the clock, but still managing your guys?
No, that was a brutal time. I mean, that was not a good time. We did make shot. I mean, we had to score at that point, because we were going to have, or RJ and James are going to have to make a lot of plays. Like, guys going to have to create some things. And we had lineups in the game that never played positions, that were trying to run actions that we run. And, but we scored enough, and we I think the closest they got it was maybe 12. During that stretch, if they would have cut it to single digits, things could have got really, I think, messy. But we survived long enough that we could get Adama back out on the court, and then stabilize things.
Gavin?
Multiple people.
Dan, you've won 4 or 5 during a time you've kind of had to have the wins. What does it kind of say about the team's mindset and approach that they're able to play this well?
We've come a long way. I mean, I don't think that I don't think people understand how far we've come in 3 years. To this point, obviously, we've got a lot further to go to get it to the level that this place belongs at. But that the culture, and the older guys that have helped us build this, and the younger players that have bought in. Just to go into a new league, where we were just getting our bearings in the old league, and then deal with all the injury stuff, and to still be in the position we're in. These kids deserve so much credit. They've done an incredible job. Incredible.
Neil?
Dan, you said after the Providence game that you weren't going to lose again at home. Was that a confidence thing? Was that motivating the guys a little bit? Maybe a little both?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't a public statement or a guarantee. That was something for the players, right? To just to rally around, because again, there's no home crowd. I mean, to think about the impact that our home crowd would have had in the St. John's game, would have had in the Creighton game, would have had in the Seton Hall game, to put us over the top in those games. So without the crowd, you got to find some type of mantra or mission to get yourself on, and that we rallied around that. But I don't think it. I think that's probably overrated. I think we're more fully formed than we were when we played those teams that we lost to, and we're hard to beat.
Couple more. Okay, Charlotte?
Just back to the foul trouble with Adama, because he went out with 4, I believe it was 4, and then when he coming back and just playing him those final, I think it was 10 minutes with the 4 foul situation, what you saw from him there and how he kind of stepped up. Yeah,
I mean, listen, he's going to be a dominator for us down the road next year. What we're going to be able to do with him over the course of the summer. I mean, this guy is going to be all conference level player next year. But he showed better discipline. He rebounded the ball really well, 15 minutes, seven rebounds. He contributed offensively, and he was able to keep himself on the court and stay in the game. That guy's going to be a guy who's going to be a dominator.
One more, Dave?
Just bounce Wayne. I'll listen to Wayne too. If Wayne wants to ask Phil.
Okay.
Wayne had his hand up. You very Wayne.
He gets the first questions all the time, but okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to get back to the 7 turnovers and just 2 in the second half. I mean, and both of them late in the game. What more can you say about that? And what does that just say about the guard play tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just settled down. Just the sign of just maturity there that way. Like really good teams and really good guards. Like they don't turn the ball over. You watch an NBA game, like they shoot shots every time down court. Like they don't dribble into bad gaps. They don't throw high risk, low reward passes. I mean, we had 5 turnovers in like the first 5-6 minutes, whatever it was, and then 2 in the last 35. I mean, if we take care of the ball, defend and rebound, and we get the guard play we had with the front court depth and the wing depth, we're pretty good.
Okay, Wayne, give it to him.
Send it, Wayne.
Thanks, Dan. You sat James for a span of 6 minutes in the first half after he'd scored 6 points. Was that because you had that luxury because other players were scoring? You didn't really need him on the court? You want to give him a break?
I mean, I liked where the game was at. Like the lineup that was in, was holding our position, if not, improving our position. And, we obviously, James, it's so hard in close games, the last 4 or 5 minutes of a close game. There's so few guys that can just go and make those plays at the end of the game. So I was kind of thinking a little bit, having the opportunity to play him more in the second half. And with the way the team was playing, that was a luxury to let him get more rest there, just save his legs in case we needed him to really close.